Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk, founder of Tesla and SpaceX, I believe he started PayPal before that. Brilliant inventor, engineer, one of the really forward-thinking minds on the planet, and also a harsh critic of the draconian, unconstitutional, irrational, absurd policies of just turning the United States into an economic wasteland, shutting down the entire country because of, well, we'll get to that in a second. When you give the keys to the economy, when you give doctors the keys to the United States economy, you're going to get 30 plus million people unemployed. Economic security also equals health, happiness, the ability to pay for medication. You don't want to be a statistic in Bernie Sanders' tweets. That's something you don't want to be. But here you have Elon Musk battling. We can get to the tweets and we can get to the back and forth in a second. He's battling the city of Alameda, well, the city of Fremont, which is in Alameda County. He has his headquarters there, Tesla headquarters there. He's moving all of his facilities in California. He's moving 10,000 employees to Texas. I believe the remaining 10,000 in Fremont will stay. He might move them eventually also. I'm not 100% sure, but the interesting thing is, Fremont, California, the city officials do not want him to reopen. The governor has allowed him to reopen his car manufacturing plant. 10,000 people could start getting a paycheck again, or could start feeding their families again. 10,000. He employs 20,000 people, around 20,000 people in California. Now, the governor said, if you're a manufacturing facility like a car manufacturer, you can open up. The city officials in his county where the factory is said you can't. And I believe they have the authority to supersede the governor's reopening of the economy or of certain sectors of the economy. I believe that technically he could get arrested. He stated, go ahead and arrest me. So it's very possible that Elon Musk, a brilliant inventor and a person who he might get arrested for actually allowing 10,000 plus people to work. Now, the rebuttal is, oh my God, they're risking their lives. Okay, that's absurd. That is absurd. And I'll explain that in a second, but subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a segment on this on H.A. Goodman's other channel. We have almost 15,000 subs on that channel. Tell your friends about this channel. We have around 150,000 subscribers. Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee. Hillary Clinton, 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. That's my Huffington Post article written in 2017. Share that everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. I've been telling you exactly what's going to take place for the past 4 years. My Times of Israel article is just up. Share that everywhere on Facebook. Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. And subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman right now, my alter ego, my Tony Clifton. He obviously doesn't like Elon Musk and can't stand Trump and yells and screeches and goes nuts. You have to subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. You need to see the equivalent of the angry, deranged, maniacal, malicious, petulant person in your life that just condemns you because you're voting for President Trump. But ladies and gentlemen, so that's Bizarro World Goodman below. Subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, go to the New York Times. Before we get to Elon Musk and Tesla, go to the New York Times. New York Times. Latest map and case count. In the United States of America, 80,684 people have lost their lives. Okay. Half, exactly 50.6% as of May 12th, 2020. A little tiny bit over half of all the lives lost in the United States of America are located in New York, New Jersey, and Michigan. Half, this is what media doesn't, they don't tell you this. Half of all the lives lost in the entire United States are in 3 states run by 3 Democratic governors, two of which are always at it with Trump, Cuomo and Whitmer. Murphy in New Jersey a little bit has a better relationship with Trump, a tiny bit better, I believe. But New York, New Jersey have, if you look at New York, New Jersey, and Michigan, you have to ask yourself, how does Cuomo get away with it? How does Whitmer get away with it? How do these Democratic machines, Cuomo, de Blasio, Schumer, Gillibrand, it's an entire Democratic Party machine, just like Tammany Hall. How do they get away with, just alone, you have about over 30% of the cases and lives lost. But if you add New Jersey and Michigan, half of all the lives lost in the entire country of 50 states and 320 million people are in 3 states. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, if you look at California now has 2,820 people who've lost their lives from COVID. Okay, there's 40 million people in California. 40 million people. We have about 20 million more people than New York. You have 27,000 lives lost and 3 lives lost. California, out of 40 million people, has 2,820 lives lost. Horrible. Do you want to know what else is horrible? Go to the CDC statistics. And this all bolsters exactly what Elon Musk was saying. He thinks these policies are draconian and nonsensical and completely irrational, and they are. Go to the CDC. Go to cdc.gov, National Center for Health Statistics, stats of the state of California. This is California leading causes. Okay, 2014, influenza pneumonia, 5,970 people lost their lives of the flu in California. Okay? When you talk about, you have these politicians and like Robert Reich, who's like, oh yeah, Elon Musk wants to subject his workers to a heinous demise. California has 2,820 people who've lost their lives. The Center for Disease Control leading causes in California of death in 2014, 5,970. More people in 2014 died of the flu than of COVID in California. Then we have close to 4 million people unemployed in California and a $54 billion budget deficit. And Gavin Newsom and every state politician, the state is run by Democrats, have tanked the entire state because they think that this state is just like the 3 states that account for half of all the lives lost. And if you look, 7 of the top 10 states are run by Democrats. In 2015, 6,188 people lost their lives of influenza. 2016, 5,981 people lost their lives because of influenza. 2017, 6,340 people have lost their lives of influenza. And if you look, generally the people who are losing their lives with this crisis are older, and if they're younger, but definitely if they're older, generally the people are older, over 60 years old, and they have already pre-existing conditions or conditions that make them susceptible to losing their lives. The mortality rate for healthy 30-year-olds or 40-year-olds, if you look at the mortality rate, this is an article by Dr. Scott W. Atlas in The Hill. The data is in Stop the Panic and End the Total Isolation, which also supports what Elon Musk is saying. The Stanford University antibody study now estimates that the fatality rate if infected is likely 0.1 to 0.2%, a risk far lower than previous World Health Organization estimates that were 20 to 30 times higher, and that motivated isolation policies. On Twitter, I do not have a Twitter account. I do not have a Facebook account. If you see anyone impersonating me on Twitter, report them. But you look, and it's like people were saying millions are going to lose their lives, millions. That was never going to happen. Furthermore, we had more people in the flu seasons in 1967 had 100,000 Americans who lost their lives because of the flu. And in 1967 and 1957, 116,000 lost their lives. People didn't tank the economy. Okay? Now, you look at what's going on between Tesla and the state of California, and specifically the county of Alameda. It technically, the county level decisions can be enforced even if they, from what I understand, for example, if you live in LA County and Eric Garcetti says, well, no, restaurants are open, 2 months from now, and Gavin Newsom says the restaurants are open a month from now. If you live in LA County, you can't simply state that, well, the governor said so it's fine. The mayor of the city or the health officials of that specific county decide what goes on within that county, which is, all of this is completely irrational. I gave you the statistics. You have a 99% chance of surviving, even if you do get, you know what, and if you're a healthy individual, 30s and 40s, and younger than that, or let's say you have a 98% chance. That's still you look, people if you wanted to ban smoking to save people from themselves, if you wanted to ban alcohol, if you wanted to completely go with driverless cars immediately, because how many people lose their lives in car accidents, you cannot state that you're doing this because of the welfare of individuals when 3 million plus Democrats, and this is a fact, voted in person, not just mailing. A lot more voted, but around 3 million in Florida, Arizona, Michigan, and Wisconsin voted in person in long lines. And in March 17th in Florida, Arizona, and in Illinois. You got to ask yourself, why did the Democrats in those states vote during a pandemic when people weren't even forced to wear wear masks? Because they don't care. When it comes to voting, they think it's like voting Democrat, making sure Biden kicks Bernie to the curb, like he was always going to do, and then eventually passes the baton to Hillary Clinton. That's fine. Because they don't care about saving lives, and they don't care about the total of people who lost their lives. When people say, well, Tesla wants to open up its factory, tell that to the people who lost their lives. Like, only the biggest imbecile would say that. Because more people lost their lives in California from the ordinary flu from 2014 to 2017. And the statistics, we don't even, 2018, we had 80,000 people. 2017 to 2018, we had 80,000 people who lost their lives because of the flu. So around what's taking place. Tanking the economy and ruining the lives of 30 million people around the country under the premise of saving them from themselves. Only a Democrat would do that just because they despise Trump. And then they would say, oh, but you can vote in the primaries. People were voting in Wisconsin in rain and getting pelted by hail just to make sure they wouldn't get Medicare for All because Biden won Wisconsin. So give me your thoughts below. Subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. He literally risks getting arrested Because technically, from what I understand, Newsom can say anything he wants, and if the county that Elon Musk is in or that Tesla is located, if those health officials say that no, he can't open up, then technically he can't open up. Which says everything you need to know. There's a mass exodus of major businesses in California. And you have the AOC mentality where she kicked out Amazon and forced Amazon out with a same public relations disaster the Green New Deal resolution was, which is a ploy because when they voted on it in the Senate, Democrats voted present. They didn't want to touch it. But she said, well, Amazon doesn't pay taxes. What about the economic activity? What about the economic activity generated from the headquarters there? And then there was an estimate about 100,000, not just 25,000. The headquarters in New York, in her district, or right near her district, was supposed to fit around 40,000 people. And from the 25 to 40,000 people, it was estimated that 100,000 people, between food trucks and union work and restaurants and dry cleaners and the ecosystem of economic activity that comes from, a major headquarters where the median income in AOC's district is around $30,000 to $40,000. That's nothing in New York. That's not a lot of money in New York. New York's the most expensive state in the country. It would have helped the people in her own district, and she was so proud, like Democrats are. So proud they're not paying taxes. If there are loopholes in the tax code for multinational corporations, then fix those and have Democrats, Pelosi and Schumer, not cry about Russia as if they didn't preside over 20% of U.S. uranium capacity being sold to Putin. And they did. Only President Obama could have vetoed it. Democrats, you had Bill Clinton meeting with Putin, literally meeting with Putin, because he couldn't get a nuclear regulatory official or an official, a uranium one official in Moscow, so he just settled for Putin. Literally settled for Putin. And Democrats are, oh my goodness, Then now we're finding out that every single thing they said pertaining to Trump, Russia, they had no evidence. Even CrowdStrike didn't have evidence. The House Intel transcripts show that CrowdStrike never had evidence the DNC was hacked. We indicted Russian intelligence officials based on Company One, which was CrowdStrike. No evidence that that the DNC was hacked. The DNC emails showed that Bernie Sanders was cheated, and Democrats blamed Russia for informing the country that Bernie Sanders was cheated. And Bernie then, engages in the most cowardly act in one of the most cowardly acts in American political history, and says nothing. Doesn't say, oh, well, you cheated me. No, it says, oh, the Russians cheated Hillary. Now Clinton is going to be nominee again. That's a whole other story. They went after Trump based on a high to moderate confidence assessment by the ODNI. Read the ODNI reports. They're highly to moderately confident, and judgment should not be confused as fact. So you have the intelligence reports that are confident but not certain, no guarantees. You have, and the DHS reports, same thing. You have Susan Rice, Sally Yates, James Clapper, Samantha Power. Yes, Samantha Power. All of them say that they were never given any evidence that Trump worked with Russia or that Russia even hacked the DNC. Yet they engaged in a Mueller probe that lasted 2+ years or so, around 2 years. And eventually they impeached President Trump, not on any legal statutes broken. Why didn't they impeach Trump on anything he did breaking the law? Because they couldn't find a legal statute. With Clinton, you have U.S. Code 793F. She had top secret and special access program intelligence on servers running outside of the United States government, at one point running on Microsoft Exchange software. And her servers weren't encrypted for over 3 months after she began as Secretary of State. So it's not but her emails, it's but her top secret emails with it's but her servers outside of the United States government with top secret emails. It's but her top secret emails on private servers that were almost certainly hacked by the entire planet. Even Robert Gates and Michael Hayden state that. So that was the biggest cover-up of all time, the biggest cybersecurity debacle. My books are below on Amazon, but her top secret emails, but her deleted emails, and debunking the Trump-Russia myth. So you have from Gavin Newsom to Hillary 2020, and now Elon Musk is leaving California, and he risks getting arrested. And technically, I believe, can arrest him. I can't imagine they would be so stupid as to arrest Elon Musk because he wants to open up a factory and allow 10,000 people to work when the chances of anyone losing their lives is infinitely not only the smallest. Not only would you even if you contracted it, if you were healthy, you have a 98 to 99% chance of surviving. If you're healthy and you're in your 20s or 30s, you have a 99 to 98% chance of surviving. So and there's 10,000 employees, by the way, who want to work for their families to make sure they have a savings, money for the children, money for food. The people, it's unbelievable. You have people on the left who must have an enormous amount of savings where they can go indefinitely without working, and must not understand anything, like no concept of taking any risks in life. You're taking risks crossing the street. More people lost their lives from the flu in California than what's going on now from 2014 to 2017. Yet he can't open his factory with safety precautions. Healthy people can't work because they're at risk of losing their lives, when even if they contracted it, they have over a 90% chance of surviving. Is that how life works in the United States of America? That's the way it works in Alameda County, apparently. Give me your thoughts below. Subscribe to Bizarre World Goodman and H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. My Times of Israel article, share that everywhere. Hillary Clinton, not Biden, will be nominee. That is below in the pinned comment and description. If you're on Facebook, share that everywhere. Thank you so very much. My Patreon is below if you want to support my work.